Good morning from Capone Cabin, actually, Capone Shed, because today I'm going to dehydrate some watermelon. Now, I use, the whole purpose to this is to utilize and save what's coming out of your garden. And when you grow watermelon, you end up either selling them, of course, or giving them to every neighbor that you know. So the reason I'm doing it out here in the shed for me is because the dehydrator does give off a little bit of heat. I mean, it's not a lot, but for those of you who don't know, while we build the cabin, we're living in a camper. So I don't want any heat. We live in South Carolina. As you can see, I have started loading this, and I've cut them into about 1/2 inch, little less chunks. And that's about the size you want. I don't know why on camera it looks a lot bigger than 1 inch, but you're going to lay them out on the tray. And if you notice some seeds, all of the instructions to everywhere always say, take out all the seeds. And you're more than welcome to do that. But what you're going to end up with is mush. Because if you pick out every single solitary seed, you're going to end up with little tiny pieces of watermelon. That's not going to work. So I do not. Can you use seedless watermelon? Yes, of course. And it would make your life easier? Absolutely. I take off surface seeds. But to me, anything seedless is frankenfruit. And I don't eat frankenfruit. So there's that. It's so highly GMO'd. I do take off surface seeds. What is going to happen if you don't remove all the seeds? When they dehydrate, the seeds actually come to the top and they come off a lot easier. But the fruit will stay whole. Got it? That's what you want. The fruit to stay whole. I always get confused on these trays. But, like I said, if you want to, awesome. I got that tray on wrong. Cool beans. This ends up like candy. One of the problems I have with dehydrating watermelon, really the only problem, is when I take it out of the dehydrator, not having really any to store because I have eaten it. Again, I try to take off as many surface seeds as I can. If your dehydrator has a temperature, a lot of them I try to include everybody's dehydrator. So you want it on a medium to high setting. That's my washing machine out in the shed. That way, it takes long enough. It'll take 6 to 8 hours in here. But the end result, like I said, is pure candy. It concentrates the watermelon flavor. And you can store them. I store them in jars. I don't use my canning jars for dehydrated foods, obviously, because it's just using up my canning jars. I save glass jars specifically for dehydrated foods and then throw an oxygen absorber in there. So that's all I have to go in the dehydrator. And mine is very simple. It just fits on there. Gotcha. Like I said, cut your watermelon into about 1/2 inch thick slices. You don't want teeny tiny pieces. See, mine are pretty good size because think about the concept. You're dehydrating watermelon. It will just turn into like powder. So what you want is a good slice to begin with, a good 1/2 inch slice. That'd be perfect. If you have, I don't know, 10 hours, and you really want to get creative, I have done an inch. And it does take longer, but to bite through it is delicious. So we're going to turn on the dehydrator. Then we're going to keep checking it. After 3 hours, I'm going to come back and I am going to check this. Okay, this has been about 3 hours in that dehydrator. As you can see, I am missing a lot of pieces. I'm sorry, I keep eating it. See how the seeds become more easy to pop out? I'm already eating it. It's so good. But see how the seeds kind of pop out? We're going to go another 3 hours and check it if I don't end up eating it. It is really, really good. Cool beans. Okay, and then after about 16 hours in the dehydrator. No, I didn't catch. You want to take the seeds out at about the halfway mark. I didn't catch it. I had a lot of stuff to do. But then I put it in a glass jar and keep it. But after that, you see what you end up with, which is watermelon candy. I don't know if you can hear the crunch on the camera. It might not look real pretty. I will suggest using parchment paper on your dehydrator trays. I had forgotten that, and it doesn't matter if you do it or not, but it makes cleanup a lot easier because the watermelon can slightly stain your trays. But there you have it, dehydrated watermelon, and it turns into watermelon candy. Give it to your kids. I do not add any salt. I don't add any sugar. I don't add anything. I just, like I said, cut the pieces in about a 1/2 inch thickness. And you can see the kind of the size. You get some little pieces, and that's okay. But this is like around the size pieces. Of course, they started off a lot thicker and a lot longer because of the high water content. You do lose a lot. If the seeds are still in it, it's totally fine. It's not going to hurt anything. But like I said, about halfway through, that's the best time to go ahead and poke those out without ending up with mushy watermelon mess. Okay? Thanks, y'all. You got to try it. Peace out. Love you.